Hello and welcome back to Bound by Flame. Right, we have a few side quests to be getting on with. Oh, a couple anyway. Investigate the traitor. Then we've got a whole bunch of main quests. Oh dear. Find the first group of prisoners. Find the Collater's Forge. Talk to Baldwin. Nice spirit. Yeah, those things were nasty. And then the king. Right, so. Fragile Alliance. I'm assuming that's... Okay. Start by heading over here, I think. Talking to these dudes. Yeah, it's Baldwin.
And even more bullshit. Don't wear yourself out, honey. We're not gonna fight for these lazy elves.
You have to listen to me, please. I know you're angry with the elves for not entering the war earlier. But today, with their help, we finally have a chance to win.
With what's left of their army? You gotta be
Oh
kidding,
dear, clipping
sweetheart.
issues.
They got taken out once. The second time's a done deal.
Black Frost is no longer here to support his army. And the elves are no longer on their own. We, the
They're about to be
scribes,
snippy about
and the
me, aren't
mercenaries
they?
Too, will be with them. And here's Vulcan. She's helping too. And as you can see, she is no ordinary mercenary. I beg you, please. If we join all of our forces together, we can win.
I gotta give it to you, Sugar. You sure know how to use that mouth of yours. But you don't know nothing about war. All I see here is the remains of an army that I got no reason to fight
God, those
for.
clipping issues are horrible.
What better way to prove my worth than a duel? That's how we settle differences of opinion in my company a lot of the time. All right?
I got a guy who should make you happy. If you beat him, I might change my mind. With what you got under your belt, who knows?
Hardly a fair fight. And then I'm hitting him with magic attacks from Sybil as well. Also, I've got a longsword and he's got a dagger.
Well, you can really back up your words, mercenary. Who knows? Maybe with guys like you, we can actually win. We're with you, Vulcan. You can count on us for the assault.
Well, that was easy. Those dudes might actually be kind of thick. Alright, let's go talk to Edwin, see if we can get her to own up to what Sybil has been saying about her. Yep.
An undead? In our camp? Aren't you afraid it'll communicate with its masters?
It's a calculated risk. Your friend Edwin told me that she can interrogate those creatures, so we captured one.
Fair enough.
You really can do some pretty weird things.
Some pretty ominous things.
Listen, Vulcan. We're not going to turn down any information. If we can find out how to haul our asses out of the fire, I don't see how it can hurt. Ready to make it talk?
If our fire breather doesn't need me right away, I can start getting ready.
Okay.
Excellent. Let's start the interrogation.
Listen, Maggot Head. You're going to tell us everything you know.
I don't think you need to insult it.
That's not quite how it works, Captain. It can't just answer questions like that. Tell me what you want to know, and I'll dig around in its memory to find the answers.
In that case, why not dig everything out, so we don't miss anything?
Even for someone as skilled as me, that could take weeks. Its brain, however limited, is like an immense
So you need to
archive that
focus.
contains both recent memories and memories of its past life.
All right. I want to know if that bastard Black Frost really has left the area.
Let me concentrate. Yes. I see him raising the wave and turning the whole city into ice. This soldier must have been at his feet. Then he gave the order to attack and gave orders to several powerful undead. Apparently he left right after. He appears nowhere else in its memory.
Okay, that's good.
What are those powerful dead you were talking about?
I see a flying creature, like the one in the swamp, and others. The image is blurred.
Oh dear.
So is the army being commanded by a tormentor now?
That could
No,
be problematic.
I don't think so. They make good spies, but poor leaders. That said, I don't see any real generals.
Nothing that looks like that one that attacked the village.
No, but Black Frost will definitely have left someone in charge. Someone he trusts. This soldier just didn't see who.
That seems a bit ominous.
What were Black Frost's
What were his orders?
You have to understand that this creature's ability to comprehend is limited. From what I can see, it was told to keep watch over the city. He asked to be sent living people. Prisoners. The other living people must still be alive and under guard. Other prisoners. And of course, that he be informed in the event of trouble.
Does he know we entered the city?
This dead thing doesn't anyway. But that doesn't mean a thing, unfortunately. I think that he... Oh no! He saw me!
Huh? Who are you talking about?
Well, well. Probing the spirits of the dead. You can well imagine that this sort of communication goes.
Cut its head off, right now.
So, that's where my dear rebels are hiding, is it?
I must break the link! Right now!
That's potentially worrying. The Elf Army. Okay
Edwin,
then.
I need to speak to you.
What can I do for you?
I would like to ask you a few questions.
I want to talk about this image that's been seen in a book.
Aren't you cold like that?
Are you afraid you're no longer the master of the situation? Because I'm showing a little too much skin?
I was simply concerned about your health.
Oh, how touching. But after having spent nights on end, trapped in a cage in the middle of the swamps, I can assure you that catching a cold is not highest on the list of things I worry about.
Fair enough.
Hey, thanks for your help. Without you, we would have never gotten anything out of that dead stiff.
You know me, I just love to be helpful.
Thanks.
So apparently I can't talk to her about the things Sybil was talking about.
Sybil, can I talk to you?
Yes?
I'd like to ask you a few questions.
What do you want to know?
Can you tell me more about your order?
Of course. The Red Scribes are an order of sages. Our quest is to find the answers to all the great mysteries of this world.
Ah, time
And
wasters.
so you know about magic.
We study magic from an essentially theoretical viewpoint, but we're not an order of magicians. Even though some of us practice healing magic, but we have nothing to do with the destructive power magic used by the Lords of the Frozen Shadows, and we know very little about that domain, unfortunately.
I see. But that doesn't mean you can't research it, huh?
Obviously.
Why did
especially
research
now.
sound like a
Any knowledge
euphemism the
which
way
would
she
help us
said
turn
that?
This war around would be helpful. But according to our archives, we were already studying magic more than 5 centuries ago.
Oh, really?
Yes, what do you know about the Ice Lords?
Ice Lords?
As much as it is possible to know without having met them. In some ways, they're quite fascinating, even though the term might seem inappropriate.
Where do they
Where
come
are they from?
Most people believe that the Lords appeared recently, at the beginning of the war. But I have found certain scrolls that lead me to believe they have been around more than 300
Well,
years.
something like this doesn't just pop up
They
out
are
of
originally
nowhere.
from a region far to the north of Vertiel. For a long time, they remained there. The beginning of their conquest is quite recent. We all think that the war started 10 years ago, but in fact, it is much longer, maybe even the last century. It took them a long time to escape from their region of origin. The dwarf kingdoms were in their way, and they put up a fight.
You had me going there for a moment. I'm sorry, but dwarves? Save it for the kids.
But you're wrong. The dwarves did exist. But
So,
the Ice Lords
we've got elves,
exterminated
but
them.
we're dubious about the
Right.
existence of
And I bet
dwarves.
they also massacred all those poor dragons and goblins.
You know that dragons and goblins don't exist. You're impossible.
Any weaknesses?
Listen, do they have any weaknesses that we could exploit?
Not that I know of. All of the Ice Lords are powerful sorcerers. They are far more powerful than all the other magicians. They have an unlimited army. If they have a weakness, it's not that.
Yeah,
In
that's...
spite of all this, you think there is a weakness?
I do. We often imagine the Ice Lords as a vast megalithic power.
It's a bunch of
But
individuals.
that's not true. In fact, they desperately hunger for power. Just because they pooled their powers to create the Deadwalker army doesn't mean they like each other. Their balance of power is precarious. As soon as they are done with destroying Vergil, they'll probably start killing each other.
Not
Sure,
really
but
helpful
that
in the
doesn't help
short
us
term.
much if we have to wait until they're done.
Perhaps there is a way to stir up the tensions between them. Even if for the moment, I can't think how.
Perfect.
So how do we kill him?
So how do we kill him?
If I knew that, do you think I would keep it to myself? But I can tell you this, we do believe it's possible.
Well, I'm assuming they're still
We
basically
know that
human.
there are 7 lords. Black Storm, Lady Crystal, Marshal Winters, the White Lady, Lord Blackfrost, the Chiller, and the Ice Duchess.
Everybody knows that. We've
Wow,
had
those are
asses
some
kicked by them
pompous ass
often enough.
names.
For sure. But in the past, there were more of them. Some scrolls talk of 9 or a dozen, even of 30 lords. Of course it's confusing.
So I
And
suspect they
doubt
keep
would have freely
offing
given the
each other
information
then.
of how to kill one of them. But you can bet that some of them have died. We just have to discover how.
Let's change the subject. What do you think of Mathras?
I think he's absolutely unique. Fascinating.
Yeah, I need to go talk to
I
him.
have always loved history and history books. But he actually lived through history. It's just incredible. There is so much we can learn from him. His
Sorry, headset's
knowledge
a
would allow
little
us
bit
to
tight,
better
so it's a
understand
little
what
itchy.
happened in our past. We could learn from the eras of our ancestors.
Do you really think he's immortal?
I'm sorry you think people can
Oh, I'm
learn from their
convinced.
past.
You only have to look at him. He's so cultured and has so much knowledge. Which reminds me,
Yes, I'll take you to the
Something
library.
to do with our decomposing friend?
yes, he won't talk to me about his romantic experiences. I managed to get a lot of stories about battles and all sorts of historical
I'm sorry, he's a
anecdotes.
walking corpse. Why do you want to know about that? That's just
I-
creepy.
It's not that I want to pry into his intimate life, but I do wonder why he's so reticent to talk about it.
I could always ask him for you.
Okay, let's talk about something else. Let's move on. Ask him for details about his sex life. Yep, because that's the quest I really want to be doing. You know I've got to do it. It's a quest. It's not in my nature to turn down a quest. Yo, dude.
Since you arrived, the enemy seems to be aware of our every move.
Truly. Surprising that they haven't yet arrived here to destroy this camp. Most interesting. Or perhaps very stupid. In any event, I do feel sorry for you. One doesn't seem to be able to put one's trust
No, I
in
don't think
anyone
it's
these
him.
days.
You don't understand. What I want is...
But I understand perfectly, my dear girl. I'd merely hoped that you were above this kind of nonsense. Since my arrival here, I've been surrounded by your friends, something that rather precludes the possibility of me talking to the enemy. I have not once left the camp, and no one deigns to speak to me of strategy.
Yeah,
which is a
so
pity.
there's no
It
reason
ended
why
levels
he'd
of
know where the
confidence
scouts
of
were
your
going.
generals. Thus, it seems obvious that these suspicions are unfounded. You know, since arriving here, I have the odd feeling of standing in a turnip field.
A turnip field?
Yes, it must be all the superior intelligences that surround us. Trust me, child. You should leave this area as swiftly as you may.
You'd know more about the Deadwalkers than us. Who do you think the spy is?
Walking around in a dead body doesn't make one an expert on all other dead things, young woman. In fact, I find this suggestion vaguely insulting.
So sorry.
But I have learned to trust my experience, something that you, despite your youth, should attempt to do also. I imagine we could quite easily reduce the possibilities.
Fair enough. Let's
First,
consider.
the traitor must be able to enter and leave the camp without being stopped. Then, it must be someone who can observe your comings and goings
A scout of
without
some
drawing
description.
attention to themselves. Lastly, it is someone who knows your plans. Someone who knows your military commander's orders. That alone excludes a large number, particularly the undead here. In your place, I should go and question the camp watchman. Logic suggests they will have seen something.
Thanks for the tips. I'll get right on it. Let's change the subject.
Okay, let's talk about something else. Incidentally, that Bing was my phone, by the way. Nothing important, though. Alright. Who are you exactly?
Who are you exactly?
I am Mathras. Immortal and unique.
Right. So why aren't you out there with your Deadwalker pals?
First of all, I don't have any pals. I'm a little too old for that. Secondly, I find your implication that I am associated with them most unpleasant. I have nothing in common with those dead things.
Well, you do appear to be possessing
I've
a
been
walking
around for over
corpse.
6,000 years, and I'm still very much alive, thank you. I admit this body is looking a little worn.
6,000 years old? Wow. You don't look a day over 3,500.
You're too kind. Very delicate of you to say so. Nonetheless, these dead walkers are simply corpses that are animated by magic.
As the name implies.
Whereas I am an immortal spirit who changes bodies when they wear out. There's absolutely no similarity.
That's not so dumb. It's what allows you to go on having an effect on the world, I guess.
Exactly. I give these bodies extra life that they would not have had if they'd stayed dead. Though, of course, these days, it's unlikely they would stay dead for very long.
Yeah.
I want to ask you a couple of questions.
Let's talk about your sex life. Oh, come on. Why is that not one of the options? I'm literally on a quest to talk to him about his sex life.
Do you have any ideas about what I am?
In all my long lives, I've never seen your like. Even the term demon seems to be designed to cause confusion. I have seen real demons when I lived as a war drum player amongst the dwarves.
Dwarves are just a legend. You're making fun of me.
No, I think he's completely serious.
I would never mock someone as charming as yourself. Well, almost never. Thus the dwarves did exist, and I was once one of them. They used to use these little creatures, barely the size of toddlers, in their enormous forges. They were little red creatures with tiny horns and a wicked air about them. You see, they were able to survive in the flames. The dwarves called them demons.
Hardly
You
on the
look a little
scale
like
of
one
the one in my
only
head.
larger and more gracious, of course. And you have an even more pronounced affinity with fire. I will reserve judgment about the wicked attitude for now. I believe this affinity with flames is no coincidence. You are clearly a response, a weapon, and your purpose is to face the Ice Lords.
Fire
It
and
is
ice.
entirely possible that you are the fruit of an attempt to rebalance the forces of nature. Alas, I have no idea which entity is behind all of this.
Well, thanks anyway. Let's change the subject.
Talk to you
That's
later.
it for now. Okay, so that's that quest considered. Okay, time for a different quest.
Mathras, got a moment?
My dear, I have all of eternity.
Fair enough.
I want to ask you a couple of questions.
Oh, come on. I've literally got a quest to talk to him about his sex life, and yet there's no option to do it. That's
Talk
it
to you
for now.
later.
I'll come back later, see if it'll tick over there. Hang on. Oops. So yeah, take her to the library. Still need to find the traitor. One of the
Got a
scouts,
moment?
maybe?
I wanted to ask you a few things. Let's
Yep.
change the subject.
Don't think there's anything
See you
interesting
later.
to say to that guy. He was positively chatty. Well, I doubt it's him, though he does have the skills. Let's talk to the commander.
Vulcan, I hope you've got good news.
I don't know who it is yet. If I learn anything,
Okay.
I'll let you know. I'll be
I'll
going
be going. So hoping I can bounce ideas off him, but no, apparently not. Okay, so it's not them. What about this guy over here, whoever they are?
Mercenary.
Hello, Sentinel.
Has
Anyone
anyone
gone
gone
by
by
here?
here? Any men leaving without passes, that sort of thing?
No, apart from you, no one. Is there a problem?
It's this guy.
Your commander thinks that someone's sneaking out to get together with the enemy.
That's terrible. Who could do something like that? Anyway, I promise no one's been by here. You should go try the other gate, near the mercenary camp. And maybe the sentinels in the North Tower have seen something.
Talking to the sentinels by the tower is not a bad idea.
I'm leaving.
The drop. Let's go to. Let's go. Loading screen. Okay. Yep. Buffalo. Okay, there should be another sentry. Yep, there he is.
Can I help you with something, mercenary?
Have you seen anyone leave the camp?
Apart from you, nobody.
Are you sure? It's important.
Certain. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to get back to guard duty.
Wonderful. Well, I've made progress.
Let's go talk to the sentries up here.
I have some questions I'd like to ask you.
I'm listening.
Have you seen anyone leave the camp?
Have you noticed any unusual movement? People leaving the camp?
Apart from you, I also saw the human who goes around with you. The one with the strange way of speaking.
Really?
And I think I saw one of the mercenaries from your company, too. A really big fellow with a beard.
Buffalo?
Maybe. He didn't give me his name. He didn't go very far. It seemed like he was looking for something.
Right. Well, I'll just have to go and ask him, I guess.
I'm listening.
Okay.
Thank you for the information. See you later.
That's ominous. Let's go talk to our friends and hope that none of them are screwing us.
Buffalo, I have to talk to you.
What do you want?
You were seen leaving the camp. What were you doing?
What business is that of yours? Are you spying on me?
I'm not accusing you of anything. I'm supposed to be searching for a spy, and I need some clues.
I was just out on a little recon. I don't see how that can help you.
They told me that you were looking for someone.
Yes, the soldier who was on watch just over there. He left his post, was trying to follow him, but he lost him. He knows
Interesting.
the terrain better than I do. I followed his tracks for a while, but considering the number of deadwalkers in the area, I decided to come back. I didn't want to give away our position.
Thank you for
Where
the
did the tracks
information.
lead to?
Over toward the river, but don't bother. The guard already came back. He's just over there. You could go and ask him yourself.
So that guard
Guess
left
that's
his
what I'll do.
post.
Thanks for the tip.
Thanks. Just gonna talk to you.
The mercenary salutes you, knight. I have a few questions I need to ask you. You're not
Where
from
is he
around
from?
here.
Since I can't apparently talk
Where
to
do
him
you come
about the
from?
quest.
The knight was born in the Algander Islands. It is a proud and savage place where the struggle against the wind and vicious neighbors makes a man strong. The Ice Lords attacked the islands more than 15 years ago, long before the rest of Vertial knew that the world was now at war. The clans were always fighting, but they fought together as brothers when the islands were threatened.
I can
And as a
respect that.
defender of Algander, the knight had the honor to be one of the first to fight. And with his brothers for a long time, he repulsed the invader. Some of the clan chiefs wanted to make peace with the Ice Lords, but the Ice Lords betrayed them, and the clans were decimated. Their numbers were sorely missed during the following battles, and in a few short months, the war was almost lost. The knight was sent by the surviving clan chiefs to the mainland to find allies. But time is a cruel master. When he returned to his homeland, the islands were buried beneath the ice.
Yeah.
Let's change the subject.
Okay then.
I'll leave
I'll
you.
leave you be. Alright, so this guy apparently is hiding something.
Can I help you with something, mercenary?
Where did you go?
I was told you left your post.
That's... No, never. Who told you such a thing?
You think I'd tell you? Come on. Tell me everything, or you'll really be in the shit.
All right. I left, but only once. I was following your comrade, Buffalo. He went to the main gates of the city. I figured that was pretty suspicious.
And you didn't mention
But
this
I didn't
earlier
dare go
because...
very far. I couldn't leave my post unguarded, you understand? And then the Deadwalkers didn't seem about to attack him. In the end, he went back without a scratch and without saying a thing.
So we've got two conflicting reports.
That's funny. Buffalo says you're the traitor, and that the reason he left was to find you.
He's lying. He's the one. I've heard rumors about him. Some people say he's immortal. How else can you explain that he gets out of things every time?
You're talking bullshit. I've known him for years, and believe me, I've seen his blood get spilled more than once. He's got no reason to betray us.
Reasons? Since when have mercenaries needed any reason other than a good payoff?
Well, that's a depressingly accurate
It
statement,
said the
unfortunately.
Deadwalkers found you in the middle of a swamp. You don't find that suspicious?
That's a
Alright,
good
I'm
point.
gonna talk to him.
I'll go back and talk to him. It has to be cleared up. Buffalo, this is kind of awkward. A guard told me that it was you who left your post. That you went into town.
And when somebody that you hardly know accuses one of your old friends...
No, I asked a lot of
just
questions.
swallow their bullshit without any questions? You disappoint me, kid, really.
That's all you have to
Is
say.
that how you defend yourself? Fall back on friendship?
You have got to be kidding. Do you really believe what you're saying?
I don't want
I
to.
told you exactly what I did, without frills, and I stand by what I said. But I would lay good money on the fact that your new friend over there doesn't feel quite so confident about his innocence.
Son of a
If
bitch.
I'm not mistaken, he's already taken to his heels.
You seem to believe what you're saying. You're probably means I just had smoke blown up my ass.
Cretin. The only one betraying the company here is you.
Oh,
I'm sorry,
thanks.
Buffalo, really. I'll see if I can go and catch him.
Alright, that to me seems like an excellent opportunity to say thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next part.